Hey everyone, obviously VMworld is talking a lot about the products that VMworld is bringing to the market, and who better to use the products than VMware itself. And actually we're just like a normal company. We also use it, and that's why we have Paul Chapman here, who is the Vice President of Global Infrastructure and Cloud Operations. We're also standing in front of the VMware timeline. You're basically leading the transformation that we continuously go through in basically bringing IT and allowing us to operate in a very efficient way. Can you talk us through how you do that on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think transformation also, to me, is a little bit of a misnomer in the fact that I think transformation feels more like it has a starting point and an ending point. And I think it's a continuum. And I think that constant change in technology is the steady state. Now at VMware, we certainly are challenged, just like other large global IT enterprises, with the same types of complexities and challenges. We have to run the business on a day-to-day basis. We have to ship product and take orders and recognize revenue. But at the same time, we have a heightened expectation that we will accelerate transformation at an accelerated pace, so that we are actually first-order movers and pioneers in figuring out new ways to deliver IT services to the organization.
Yeah, exactly. And I think VMware is, in some ways, a very special organization. I joined myself 9.5 years ago. I think we were 400 people back then. We're now over 15,000, so IT must have exploded. And the way that VMware's sort of accelerated growth must mean tremendous change for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been in VMware now almost 7 years, and I like to say most companies go small, medium, large, and global. And I think VMware went small, medium, and global, and we skipped large. We got here so fast. And so, the scalability and growth of VMware is actually even by itself is sort of a life's work just keeping up with that. Transforming at the same time adds another layer of complexity, but what a better place, can't think of a better place to do it than at VMware, right?
So obviously you have a lot of knowledge and experience. Can you talk us a little bit about how you share your knowledge with the customers and how they can benefit from all the experience that we have with our own infrastructure?
Sure. Well, over the last few years, we've really embodied sort of a VMware on VMware mindset, as well as an IT as a service direction. And those two things combined, we've really focused on solving some really tough and complex technology challenges. And sort of technology has now almost moved to an implementation detail. And so now we're really focused on the people and the process in the organization. And because internally we've solved some real world problems that resonate with many of our customers, we're now in a position to share how to solve some of those real world problems in a real game-changing way. We're not talking about incremental improvements to things that are going from weeks to days. We're talking things that are going from months to minutes. And through those game-changing agility and automation that we're able to achieve, we're now able to share that with the broader IT community at large.
So you're really actually saying that IT is more of a broker, and we're deciding where to put the application based on where it can be run best. Do you see that that's something that's living with the customers? Are they starting to move towards that direction as well?
Yeah, so I think that the complexity of the technology complexities in the most part have now been solved. And now the case is how do you now get the organization to embrace it? And part of that is a mindset change. You have organizations that have been built in a very sort of traditional way that now have to think about delivering services in a new way. And so how do you accelerate considering an organization, the aligned incentives of an organization are around sort of protecting their world, right? Yeah. And what's happening is that as the roles are changing inside of IT, they're often moving to things that are far more meaningful and far more interesting than the current roles. But when you have individuals that have built up their skills and their expertise in very sort of siloed and vertical technology areas, that can be actually quite daunting to go on a transition as an IT professional to something new and unknown. And I think that that's a lot of what we're focused on now, because internally at VMware, we were challenged with the same thing, and to some degree still are. And so we spend a lot of time thinking about the new cloud operating model, and how do you transition from a traditional model to a new cloud operating model.
Exactly. So for a lot of customers, you already mentioned, it's a very daunting thing. If you have one tip for customers watching this, what would you say? Where should they go? Where should they start by finding information? What would be their first step on this journey?
Well, I think it's really about a momentum to IT as a service first. One of the things we talk about inside of IT at VMware is not about going on the journey to IT as a service, but really how fast we can get there. And that really takes sort of seed change and mindset change. I think that one of the reasons that SaaS exists as an example is it's sort of revenge of the business. And what we have found is that why don't we behave and operate and think like a SaaS company? Where organizations are buying things as a service, internally we should be internal IT should be providing things as a service as well. And so that's sort of, I think that it's a mentality, it's a movement, it's a new way of thinking about things. In the past, I think IT's been able to hide behind complexity, which is a reason for not being able to get there. And I think they can no longer hide behind complexity, so now there's no reason not to get there and accelerate and get there fast.
Perfect. Well, Paul, thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
It's been a very good chat for me. I've learned a lot, and I really do think it is a mind change. So make sure you get the information if you're here, visit all the vendors and get that information that you need to make that change toward becoming a more business-oriented IT organization.